Hey Global Village, what's up? Okay, today I want to talk about the pursuit of objectivity. Now, as it turns out, I used to be quite a proficient handstand balancer. And one of the things you learn about balancing on your hands is that in order to maintain balance, you have to constantly be correcting for either the fact that you overbalance or underbalance. So, for example, if you underbalance, your feet are going to fall back to the floor. And the way to combat that is to dig the heel of your hand hard into the floor to push the weight towards the backside of your body. Now, if you overbalance, then you risk falling down onto your back, and the solution to that is to dig your fingers hard into the floor to press your weight back towards the front of your body. So the art of balance is actually the art of constantly recognizing when you're out of balance and then self-correcting by pushing in the other direction. And I think the pursuit of objectivity is a little bit like that. We're all going to come from a different perspective. We're either going to be on the overbalanced side or the underbalanced side, and the correct behavior is to recognize which side of the equation you lie on, and then to try to adjust accordingly to bring yourself back towards this idealized vision of what it means to be truly in balance. In reality, you are never truly in balance. You're always tipping over the line, and you're always tipping to one side or the other. And I think this is where it comes down to the idea that no one can be truly objective. I think it's more a matter of just recognizing your own bias and then doing your best to self-correct. Now, this leads me to one of my favorite channels, because again, I'm not about going after the low-hanging fruit. I try to, if I'm going to add any value here, try to talk about things that are a little bit more nuanced, and perhaps therefore offer us some greater insight into who we are and how we decide to engage the mechanics of our own mind and our own hearts. So specifically, this channel is definitely part of the anti-imperialist movement, and the reason I like it is because I hold Dimitri Lascaris in the highest regard. I think he is very articulate. He has clear morals that guide his position, which he doesn't compromise the moment they become inconvenient to him. And this video is somewhat of an example of that very fact. Nonetheless, he has a number of guests on his channel, and including, in this particular case, a gentleman by the name of Leif Maroof. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually like Leif, and I understand exactly why Dimitri would have him on his channel, because he gives voice to the plight of the Palestinian people in a very personal and sincere way. Nonetheless, this video made me feel a little uncomfortable, and it's a bit of an old video now. Specifically, there was a moment later in the video, about 3/4 of the way through, about 45 minutes in, where they discuss what happened on Bondi Beach. And Leif's interpretation that his perspective of that attack, in my view, it crossed the line, and in a way that I think is very instructive, and in a way that I felt made it very useful for me to make this video. In fact, it was something I wanted to do a while ago, but I kind of just let it go because it just did feel awkward. And then I realized if I leave this, I'm going to have trouble even refinding the video in order to be able to make this particular piece. And so I thought, yeah, I'm going to dig up the video. So I had to sort of go back a few weeks, and I managed to find it. And I just want to play back this little bit, and then I want to talk to you about why it made me feel uncomfortable and why I think we all have to be checking ourselves. Anyway, let's do this.
The other thing that I would say about specifically the attack on Bondi Beach in Sydney is that this was an event organized by the Chabad. The Chabad, whatever you want to pronounce it as, are the ultra-fascist Jewish supremacist Zionist movement. They are the ones that are, we were just talking about those colonies in the West Bank. They're the ones that run those. They are the ones that are behind Smotrich and Ben Gvir, not even behind Netanyahu, right? And the rabbi of the Chabad Australia, who was leading this event on the Bondi Beach, who was organizing this event, was responsible of taking hundreds of Australians to participate in the genocide in Gaza, and was filmed bringing those Australians to volunteer in the genocidal army, was filmed inside Gaza doing prayers for these genociders, and was gloating in his tweets, in his postings, as a rabbi, the head of Chabad Australia, about calling the children of Gaza Amaleks, justifying the killing of Palestinian children, men and women with or without weapons, justifying the rape of Palestinian children, men and women. And he was the first target in the shooting in Bondi. He was the highest ranking person that died on that attack. And all of those who died on that attack, including the child that was there, were all members of the Chabad synagogue.
Okay, he did something here which I find incredibly problematic. And if you're not paying attention, you could easily have missed it. And I just want to demonstrate the irony of what he just said there. Because moments prior, he talked about how the extreme Zionists, including apparently the spiritual religious leader that was actually killed in the Bondi attack, demonized and dehumanized young Palestinian children. But then what did he just do right now? The small child that he indicated is effectively a part of this movement was a 10-year-old girl by the name of Matilda. Now, I have in the past described the Israelis as victims. And what I mean by that is they are victims of their own toxic and sick ideology. When you are born being told that the Palestinians and the Arabs are your deadly enemy, that they are subhuman animals that can't be reasoned with, and that you should dedicate your life to fighting them, erasing them out of, existence, then this is an indoctrination that you had no defense for because you were literally born into it. And trying to escape that toxic, evil bubble of indoctrination comes with a price, obviously. You end up becoming ostracized from your own society. So I am very much, I am effectively the sworn enemy of Zionism because I think it is a sick and toxic ideology that teaches supremacist, we are better than you worldviews. But it doesn't mean that I think the people themselves are evil in any comic book sense of the word. They're just people who've been taught to do evil things and to think in an evil way. And the irony is that this guy is kind of doing the same thing, because he's now dehumanizing the victim of that attack, including a 10-year-old girl, by simply claiming she is apparently not innocent because of her alignment with this toxic ideology. But it's as if she had no choice in the matter. She didn't choose to be born into the Zionist worldview. That is just something that happened. The same as none of us choose to the situation in the geography and the ethnicity of our circumstances. This is just the great cosmic lottery. So anyway, I wanted to point that out because it's actually really important to me. We are all of us trying to fight to discover a sort of a more enlightened and hopefully objective view of everything that's happening in the world, to try our best to make sense of it and to decide, where righteousness lives, where morality lives. And it is not as easy as it sounds, because good can become evil if it doesn't constantly attend to itself and hold itself accountable. Now, like I said, Dimitri Lascaris, I admire him and I admire his channel. I did make a comment in his video congratulating him, because he, after this discussion, I think it was pretty obvious that he felt a little uncomfortable with where the conversation was going, so he kind of clarified his own position. And if you want to go ahead and listen to the whole video, which I will link to, then you will hear him just clarify his position, while at the same time showing his clear support for Leaf and everything he's doing. Because in defense of Leaf, I'm not in his position. I'm not in the position where, as a Palestinian, I've watched these horrors just being played out upon his people, with the rest of the world just washing their hands of them and kind of acting like nothing's really happening, because it's just too politically and economically inconvenient for us to actually stand up for them. I mean, I get it. I can understand why someone would develop the position and the attitude he's expressing. So I'm not out and out condemning him, but I'm just saying that we all have in front of us a serious challenge on our hands whenever we're trying to deal with these highly emotive topics, and that it's so hard to clarify and crystallize where the right path lies. I was thinking of, actually, when I did this video, of also kind of segueing it into my views about the Ukraine-Russia conflict. But I think I might save that for another video, because I don't want to dilute this one, although there is a certain relationship there, again, in the pursuit of trying to discover objectivity, which might have led me to wanting to do that. But, I mean, I already create long, rambling, unedited videos, and so I'll try to keep this one relatively concise and just leave it at that. All right, Bendy out.